Okay, we'll start now. We are recording the Zoom seminar as usual, as normal, and I'll try to speak slowly so each one will be able to understand what I say. Yesterday, when I spoke to people from Punjab and Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, sorry, it was basically only in Hindi. But here I assume most people here will understand English. What is the idea of this seminar? The seminar is basically to explain to you what is strength and conditioning. Even till last week, people know when she's quite a senior physiotherapist and personal trainer in Indore in Madhya Pradesh. She said, is there really a difference between strength and conditioning and personal training? That, this, I'm sorry, she's from Bhopal, that she has got 3-4 different certifications in personal training only. And therefore, whether she can be taken as a strength and conditioning coach. She also told me that she does a lot of Olympic lifting. Now, this is the reason why I thought we should have this seminar. Actually, explain to everybody what is this concept of strength and conditioning. So that is the reason why I thought the seminar will be useful. So what we'll do is it's a very short 1.5 hour, 90-minute seminar. At the end of that seminar, particularly those who are from Kerala can always ask questions to me or to Bashir sir. The others, you are always welcome to contact me directly. I'll give you my telephone number at the end of it all. What we plan to do is the short thing, we'll first see what is strength and conditioning. What is the scope of strength and conditioning as a profession, not personal training. I'm talking of strength and conditioning as a profession in India. Why do we need an Indian strength and conditioning course in India? What is so Indian about this course? Because there are other courses also available. ISSA, in fact, we were partners of ISSA from 1999 till August 2021, when I terminated the agreement. As long as that famous guru of strength training, Dr. Frederick Hadfield, Dr. Scott, was the big man behind ISSA. Their strength and conditioning course was fantastic. Even today, it's quite a well-rated course. NSCA is available here. ISSA is available here. So why should we have an Indian course? Somewhere in North Karnataka, there is just a two-day training program by the Australian Strength and Conditioning Association. Just a two-day thing. Everything else is online. It's quite expensive. So it is not that this is the only course. Our course is not the only course available in India. Mostly all the courses are online only. They don't have classes. So what is it which makes our course a little bit different, that we'll discuss? Of course, scope in India and career prospects is the same. This is a typing mistake, which I should not have put it here. But one thing you should also be knowing is what is the difference between personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach. Okay. And then, of course, finally, what is the course content of our strength and conditioning course? What is the syllabus? What is the fee? Exam, all that we'll discuss. So let's start now. Let's get the basics first. Particularly those who have done our CCPFT, our own academy. There are still some more people coming in. Good. Who have done our course will know. In theory of fitness, I think many probably would have explained to you in Kerala classes. Other students would have done it elsewhere. But generally speaking, the foundation of any activity is a physical activity. Physical activity means going to the post office, walking, not in an auto rickshaw, or you go to the bank not on a motorcycle, but you go jogging, for example. At home, somebody else is doing the washing of bartan, utensils, or cleaning and sweeping of the house. You do it, or I do it like the way I do it in my own house. That is called physical activity. Gardening, doing some work in the garden, collecting some coconuts or whatever it is. So that is example of physical activity. Okay. Based on that physical activity, you then have exercise. Now, what is the difference between physical activity and exercise? That also probably we should keep it in mind. Exercise is done regularly, maybe Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, maybe half an hour, maybe You know, specific rules are there. I mean, you do 3 sets, 12 reps each, or maybe 2 sets, 15 reps each, whatever it is, depending on your fitness goal. A bodybuilding, normally we would say 8 to 10 reps max. At the end of the 10th rep, you should be able to get a fair amount of soreness in the muscles. In physical activity, there is no fitness goal. I want to keep myself active. So I'll go for an evening walk today. Then tomorrow, next 3 days, I will not do, but I will do some other work in the house itself. So the difference between physical activity and exercise is there are two differences. One is exercise is regular, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. And there is certain a pattern, a system, 3 sets, 15 reps, and so on, right? And exercise is basically to achieve any of those 16 types of fitness goals. There are 16 types or 16 fitness goals. I'm so happy that our students, CCPFT students, know those 16 fitness goals. Now, for example, in my own case, I don't want to become a bodybuilder. At the age of 68, I don't want to be a bodybuilder. I cannot become a bodybuilder. What do I want at my age? I want some medical relief for my injured knees. I want to get some flexibility. And yes, if I go to the Himalayas, then I need to have some kind of aerobic endurance. Somebody, one of you youngsters who wants to be a bodybuilder, well, then your fitness goal is muscle mass, right? Somebody says no, weight loss, fat loss, or whatever it is. So exercise is basically for achieving certain fitness goals. And as you know, there are 8 methods of training, general methods. The most important method is weight training. As you know, weight training can be done by 6-year-old children to 95-year-old. Where in my own house, my grandson age 8 is doing weight training. My mother age 95 is also doing weight training. So weight training can be done by everybody. But then you have body weight exercises, Pilates, plyometrics, functional training, water fitness, right? So that's the second category. Then you have sports motivation, so sports psychologies, diet, nutrition. These are all technologies of training. And ultimately, remember that fitness is all about movement, physical movement, moving from one place to another. I cannot sit on this chair and say I'm going to get fit. I need to get out of the chair and then do some activity, either go for exercise or play sports. And what is the difference now between exercise and sport? Sport is always there to win. You play a sport so that you win that particular match or competition. Exercise, there's no winning as such. You're not winning a competition. But normally sports, nobody wants to play a sport to lose. I'm allowed to play hockey, but I also want to win. I want to play football. I want to win that tournament. I want to be a bodybuilder, but I want to get that gold medal or the trophy or the title or whatever it is. That's one difference. The other difference between exercise and sport is sport always has rules, right? Only 11 people can play cricket. You can't have 15 people on the cricket ground. Or you have only 5 people in basketball. You can't have 6. But you can have 6 people. You must have 6 people on the volleyball court, right? So that time limit, how many hours of play, for example, what you should wear, what is the kind of equipment you should use, so each sport has got its laws, rules. So that is the difference between exercise and sport. As a personal trainer, you're into this picture. That's all. Physical activity plus exercise. I always tell personal trainers that when you are getting a brand new client, first time that person is going to exercise, before you actually get him into the gym, tell that person for 10-15 days to do physical activity at home. Cleaning the house, cleaning his own car, cleaning his own motorcycle, going to the post office, walking, not in an auto rickshaw. Once that physical activity starts, then it is easier for that person to appreciate and understand and absorb the muscle soreness, because quite often a new person in the gym tends not to come back to the gym because of the pain. But if it's physically active, it becomes a little easier, right? So keep this thing in mind that ultimately in the personal training sphere, you are looking at physical activity and exercise as a personal trainer. In strength and conditioning, you are nothing but focusing on sports. Of course, you have to use exercises to achieve a sports thing. So this is one major difference between a personal trainer and strength and conditioning coach. A person trainer probably for example will tell you to do bicep curls to improve your the strength of your biceps. In strength and conditioning, very few coaches will tell you to train your biceps. It's very interesting. The strength and conditioning coach will say you focus on other muscles. For example, when you're doing lats pull down, you're also doing your biceps. In fact, there was a lot of things written about this thing, that should a bodybuilder do bicep curls? Of course, he should do, according to my knowledge, this thing. Otherwise, how will you develop the biceps? But if I'm playing tennis, then I don't need to have big biceps like a bodybuilder's, no? So I don't need to do the biceps exercise. Also, the third difference here is, in personal training, you will do exercises according to muscles. Chest and let's say shoulder and triceps on one day, chest on second day, legs on the third day. But in strength and conditioning, you don't go by the muscles. You go by the joints, the shoulder joint, elbow joint, knee joint, hip joint. So you exercise because in sports, you're using the joints. Therefore, quite often you'll find that the periodization, the exercise planning is not done according to chest, back, and so on. It can be done and is done according to the joints. So that's that's little bit of differences that before we enter the thing. There are a lot of careers in fitness. Personal training is one of them. The other is definitely strength and sports conditioning. Then, of course, you got group exercise, aerobics, Zumba. That will come under group training. Corporate fitness, then fitness in medical exercise, medical rehabilitation through exercise in the hospital, for example. So those are different careers. Today we are going to talk only of strength and conditioning. Jitin, okay, he's coming. So now, what is strength and conditioning? Strength and conditioning is a selection and execution of dynamic and static exercises used to improve physical and mental performance in sport. It has got nothing to do with weight loss, fat loss, bring down your high blood pressure, stabilize your blood pressure, lower your resting heart rate. No, those typical fitness goals that you have in personal training, they are not here. Here it is body and mind performance should be improved so that I can win the gold medal in the sports. It is used to develop every area of the body and improve the way a person moves on the sports field. The way you play football, you are standing upright. And the way you play hockey, you are always bending forward. The way you move is different. The way you move on a volleyball court is different from the way you play for cricket, for example. Even within cricket, the way a batsman moves is quite different from the way a bowler moves, right? A batsman is always leaning forward, bending forward, while a bowler actually comes running and then, through a cartwheel action of the shoulder joint, he puts bowls the ball. So this is very important that we develop every area of the body and improve the way a person moves. Obviously, what is the goal of improving sports performance? Now, the other thing that you need to keep in mind is in strength and conditioning, what kind of exercise will you use? In personal training, normally you will use only, let's say, normally it is cardio and weight training. Our CCPFT students also know how to use Pilates and functional training and water fitness and so on and so forth. Most personal trainers do not know that. That is why it is mentioned here. This is the reason why it's mentioned here, that strength and conditioning will use all sorts of exercises. So to that extent, our personal trainer course, the course that I think many of our students from Kerala and the other places in India have done, you are very familiar with, in that sense, to that extent, you are familiar with strength and conditioning. It is strength and conditioning is basically very holistic, integrated. Anything which is going to help my client win the championship in tennis, I will help him. I'll make him do that. So this is something you have to keep in mind. Ultimately, if there are 16 fitness goals in personal training, here in strength and conditioning, it is nothing but athletic or sporting ability enhancement. That's it. Okay. Application of strength and its functions like speed, stability, agility to develop conditions specific to sport. I think Bashir sir probably in Kerala batches would have told you that you also have to focus on stability before you come on to strength. Most personal training courses don't teach that. But in strength and conditioning, it's very, very important. Breaking down everything into periodization and so on. But ultimately, if it is strength and conditioning, if somebody asks you what is strength and conditioning, there's one point I forgot to mention. I'll mention it now. In strength and conditioning, the focus, our focus, mental focus should be on the word conditioning, not on strength. Okay, just keep that one thing in mind. And what does the conditioning mean? Some people are coming. 1 minute. Okay. What is the meaning of conditioning? This is something you must keep in mind. Strength, everybody knows what it is. What is the definition of strength? Nothing but muscle contraction to produce movement of the bones and the connective tissue and the body, etc., right? So what is conditioning? Conditioning means that as a strength and conditioning coach, you will give that sportsman the physical and mental condition meant for that sport. The physical condition of a swimmer is quite different from the physical condition that a bodybuilder requires. And the physical condition of a bodybuilder is quite different from what a cricketer wants, right? So in personal training, you have 16 fitness goals, but here we have different sports specific goals. Not only that, now, for example, let us say we are coaching a football team. In the football team, you'll have 11 players, maybe then another 6 or 7 reserves. So the whole football team may have 16 or 17 players, out of which 11 will play at any given time. But are all 11 or all 16 players exactly the same? No, not possible. Someone is tall, someone is short, someone is very slow, somebody is very fast, somebody is a goalkeeper, somebody is a striker, somebody is a midfielder, right? So that is, therefore, the strength and conditioning, therefore, has got two things. For one thing, each individual sportsman has to be trained specific to that individual person's goals, and then train the whole team together so that all work together as one cohesive team, as one cohesive unit. So this is something that you must keep in mind. Focus on the conditioning part, not on the strength part. Why did that word phrase strength and conditioning come? We will see in a couple of minutes. Career prospects, scope in India. Why should you do the strength and conditioning course? In fact, it's very interesting because many of you have done the CCPFT. Do you really need to do the strength and conditioning course? Because you already have the knowledge about plyometrics, functional training, right? Water fitness. Well, we'll come to the little later, why we need to do this course separately. But look at the population of India. On April 4, that is 3 days ago, April 4th at 7 p.m. in the evening, our population of India was 140 crores, 42 lakhs, or whatever that entire figure. At 7 sharp in the evening, this was the figure. Every 3 seconds, I think the number was going up. Every year, we add one Australia. The population of Australia is added to our country every year. So imagine what a huge country we are. We are not 130 crores. That was 10 years ago. We are already crossed 140 crores. The number of schools in India, nearly, how much is that? 15 lakhs, 1.5. You have number of 1,000 universities. Number of colleges is 43,000. So the reason why I'm giving you these things, at the same time, it's very interesting. In a survey which was done in 2018, much before COVID, less than 5% of Indians actively play sport. 95% of India watches sport. IPL matches, for example, everybody is watching them. But how many actually play cricket, for example? Or I love to watch European football. But do I actually go and play football? No. So no, we are talking who actually physically play a sport that is less than 5%. So that why do we say that there's a scope for us in strength and conditioning? There is a scope for us because of our huge population. More and more people are taking part in sports. And not only the more number of people who are participating in sports, but we have such a huge variety of Indian sports. Now, for example, there's a photograph here. I think where you can see I'm moving the mouse on that. I'm not sure how many of you, you know this one. This is Kabaddi, right? This is Kabaddi in Maharashtra. It's also called Hututu. Kabaddi is the world popular game now. What about this interesting game here? Does anybody know what is the name of this game?
Coco.
Kho. Extremely
Kho.
fast, explosive, very, very explosive. In fact, uh, Americans and Russians have already started playing Kho. They have Indian coaches going and training them. So we have so many Indian sports like Kabaddi, we have Kho. There are so many others. So it's not just don't focus only on cricket, IPL, typical that happens in our mind. No, as a strength and conditioning coach, you should be looking at different games. You should be able to, you should have the knowledge to train and give the condition required for different sports. So for example, I am a cricketer, so you will train me for cricket. Now within cricket, I'm a fast bowler, so you will train me give me a condition for fast bowling. Then after some years, I said, no, I don't want to be fast bowler. I'm getting knee problem now. I want to become a spin bowler. So you give me a condition for spin bowling. In football, you will give a condition to the goalkeeper, which is quite different from the condition of the midfielder. That is what we want to do. Be a master of this particular strength and conditioning. So if you do that, and the way the system is growing, now how big is this sports industry in India? Well, if you want in value in terms of rupees, it is around it varies from 6,000 crores, 6,000 crores to 9,000 crores. But that is not the value of actual sports. That is the value of your, Adidas, Nike T-shirts, shoes, the whole industry, merchandising, advertising revenue earned by Dhoni and Tendulkar, all that is included in this 9,000 crores. So it's very difficult to say what is the actual value of sports. Just because I sell 100 hockey sticks costing, let's say, 1 lakh rupees, doesn't mean that that 100 people are playing. We don't know the situation, but it is a fact that sports is now growing. It is now seen as what is known as a brand extension. Even schools want to develop the brand. If they have a good hockey team, under 8 age group, under 8, under 10, under 12, under 14, under 16, the way it happens in all schools. The school feels, okay, my school is getting famous, I'll get more students. Same thing with colleges. Same thing with corporates, big companies. At one time, when I was in college in the late 1960s, early 1970s, most of the sports was not professional, but very famous companies like Tata's. Then we had a company called Mafatlal, Orcas. They had international level sportsmen. ACC, very famous cement company in those days. Banks, for example, Bank of Baroda, Dena Bank, they're all famous for even government departments, Indian Customs, Indian Excise and Customs Department, Income Tax Department had brilliant sportsmen. Their job was not to do clerical work in the office, but they would do only sports for the sports. So even government departments today are now finding it big thing. Look at Orissa, the state of Odisha, as it is called, in Eastern India. They're mind-boggling, the kind of facilities that they have, including for bodybuilding. It's very interesting. Because why is that state government of Odisha doing it? Because they want Odisha to be known the whole world, that we are very famous for sports, please come. And they have some wonderful tribal people who are brilliant hockey players. Brilliant, they're playing for World Cup and Olympics for India. So state governments now, including Kerala, including Punjab, Maharashtra, we have the sports authority of not only India, but we also sports authority of Gujarat, Punjab, Maharashtra. And they're doing a lot of good work, including Kerala, for example. So the thing is, sports is now a big thing. As a strength and conditioning sport coach, you can go to a school and say, I would love to train under 10 or under 12 age group football team. We don't have to. Strength and conditioning coaching is not only for Olympic athletes or Mr. Universes or big. That is later. We have to start at the ground. So look at schools. It's a huge market. Think if in that as a personal trainer, yes, you can go and market yourself in schools. But as a personal trainer, what will the school prefer? A strength and conditioning coach to coach the football teams or the hockey teams and the tennis teams and the basketball teams, or will they take a personal trainer? This is very interesting. You can coach the parents of, sorry, you can give personal training to the student's parents, the father and mother of the student. But the student needs strength and conditioning. So this is one important that you can keep in mind. It's not only the brand extension or more publicity for schools and governments and private companies, but also remember one thing, we have always said that in class, a 6-year-old child can start weight training. Of course, there are contraindications. A 6-year-old child can start weight training, but only once a week or twice a week. Then what should he do the other times? He must play games. It is only in games that the child improves his personality and social skills. Now, what do you mean by social skills? A small child learns to give a ball, for example, and he doesn't cry. What happens? See, in our own houses, if some other one child takes the toy of another child, the child starts crying. But through sports, the child may not cry because he knows that what I have given will come back to me. You develop that trust, social skills, very important in life. Social skills or interpersonal skills is where you start at the age of 8, 10, not even 6, 8, 10, when the child knows how to give something because he knows he's going to give it, he's going to get it back. So personality development and social skills is only through sports. That way, if you remember one thing, weight training is it's a lonely kind of a thing. You don't work as a team there. Yes, you are the personal client, a personal trainer, and you have the client. You are a team, but you're not a team like a typical sports team, right? Promotes interpersonal relationships. That's what I said. Trust. If I give you the football, I know that you're going to pass the football back to me, right? So this is, or when I'm in trouble, some opposite team is attacking me, I know that all of you will come and help me out. That kind of teamwork or interpersonal relationship is very important. Of course, sports also contributes to health and fitness. And let's not forget, today, IPL is not the only place where there are professional cricketers earning money. Today, Kabaddi players are earning 3 crores, 4 crores in professional Kabaddi. Even Kho-Kho, this game called Kho-Kho is becoming professional now. We have basketball leagues, professional leagues. We have volleyball leagues. In fact, I love to watch Indian volleyball league. I love volleyball. It's a fantastic, and Kerala is famous for volleyball. So professional sports is improving. That is where today strength and conditioning coaches are required. Quite often, I get the calls from these professional teams saying, please send us some strength and conditioning people. Because it's a huge thing. You know, professional sport has got a very small season. For example, I think Indian Soccer League works only for 45 days or 2 months or something like that. But strength and conditioning coaches can get 3 to 4 lakhs only those two months. So why not? So there's a huge career prospect for strength and conditioning. What is the difference between personal training and strength and conditioning? To some extent, I've already mentioned that, but let's quickly revise. Can a personal trainer market himself as a strength and conditioning coach anywhere in the world? The answer is no. Personal trainer does not have the skills or the knowledge to become a strength and conditioning coach. Perhaps in the case of our own CCP, Mumbai University EREP's personal trainer course. Now, what is the reason? Most personal training courses do not teach you plyometrics, functional training, and so on. They will teach you barely 25 to 30. Look around the other academies in Kerala or anywhere in Mumbai or wherever you are. Other academies will train you only 25 to 30 weight training exercises, period, nothing else. We teach much more. So our course is a little different. But generally speaking, personal trainers do not have the knowledge of what a strength and conditioning person should have. Now, what is the main reason for it? A personal trainer, his knowledge of kinesiology and physiology is limited limited to exercise. That's why we have thing called, for example, which muscle works when you do a bicep curl. It is basically exercise kinesiology or exercise physiology. But in strength and conditioning, each sport has got its own sports kinesiology and sports physiology. That's one thing that you guys have to keep in mind. So in fact, even for a Pilates teacher training course, there'll be actually 3 hours of physiology specific to Pilates. Now imagine the same thing. Physiology for marathon running is quite different from physiology for, let's say, bodybuilding, right? So that is one topic that we will teach separately in our strength and conditioning course. Therefore, can a certified strength and conditioner market himself as a personal trainer? The answer is yes, because you got more knowledge. As a strength and conditioning coach, you have far more knowledge of sports physiology, exercise physiology. You cover the entire thing. So probably across the world, this is the situation. In fact, across the world, even in our own course, we always say, we have been saying that if you are a personal trainer and certified personal trainer, then come and do the strength and conditioning course. In America and Europe, strength and conditioning is only at the graduate degree level. Bachelor of Science in Strength and Conditioning. In India, we have not started. In fact, probably we have started now. Maybe in the next 5 years, I will like my academy to become a college of exercise. That's what we're planning. But if COVID had not come in, probably by now, maybe we would have started a diploma course as a college. But I hope to God that we'll be able to do it in the next 4 or 5 years. And the other thing is personal trainers achieve a permutation combination of what is called health-related physical fitness goals. There are 16 types of fitness, right? 16 goals or 16 types of fitness, but they're all health-related. In the case of strength and conditioning coach, he looks after only sports or athletic performance. Strength and conditioning coach is not interested, that is not his job, to stabilize the high blood pressure of a patient or help a diabetes type 2 patient in the gym. He is there to improve the performance of a particular sportsman. Third difference is, if you look at Europe, Australia, most countries, except India, personal trainers are members of their country's register of exercise professionals. Now let's take the example of England, United Kingdom. That is where the register of exercise professionals started in the 1980s. Today, there's no reps in UK. Reps closed on 27th of February 2020. 2 years ago, reps closed down. It was purchased taken over by the government department called SIMSPA. So now in UK, there are different types of reps. Active IQ, Focus Award. Probably you would have heard that name because we are partners of Focus Award. And because you are also part of EREPS, you get the UK certificate automatically. We already have 4 or 5 students from Kerala who have gone to England and they got this SIMSPA level 3 or whatever it is called. In the register of exercise professionals does not look after strength and conditioning. I repeat, registers of exercise professionals, for example, UAE reps. Everybody, most Kerala guys want to go to UAE reps or Qatar reps. None of the reps have jurisdiction over strength and conditioning. Why? Because strength and conditioning has its own associations. In America, it's the National Strength and Conditioning Association, NSCA. In UK, it is United Kingdom Strength and Conditioning Association. In Poland, they have every country has got it. It's only in India, we neither have a national domestic REP rep. Reps India or EREPs or IREPs or whatever in India, they are not compulsory. We are using this EREPs thing only for people to go abroad. Correctly speaking, there should be a genuine government-owned register of exercise professionals for the domestic market. Now, for example, if I want to work in your gym, I want to work in a gym in Mumbai or Thrissur, I will not get a job unless I'm member of the register of exercise professionals, which is not there in India. Maybe after 10 years it may come, I have no idea. Nor do we have a strength and conditioning association. But Bashir sir, who is here, will know that in 2019 September, we started our AFSCON Pro. One of the things was to develop strength and conditioning. with the help of Professor Ian Jeffreys. That, of course, because of your COVID and all that, things have got a little delayed on that point. I think I've already covered this. Strength and conditioning, you require a very high level of knowledge of sports kinesiology and biomechanics, while personal trainers look after only exercise-related kinesiology and physiology. Okay. The other interesting difference is, as a personal trainer in the gym where you are working, how many times are you in touch with a physiotherapist or a sports nutritionist or a sports psychologist? You are training your client, then probably you also give some nutrition advice to that client, right? As a personal trainer, you are on your own. But in strength and conditioning, you have to work with the coach. You are not the football coach or the hockey coach. You are only the strength and conditioning coach. The coach will tell you, okay, that Mr. XYZ is our star striker, is a forward in football, but his speed has become slow. Please help him improve his speed. Or a fast bowler can bowl very fast for maybe only 1 over or 2 overs. After that, he doesn't have that local muscular endurance. So it is a coach who will tell you what kind of sports goal has to be improved in that particular client. That means the strength and conditioning coach will always work with the sports coaches, nutritionists, psychologists, sports medicine expert, and so on and so forth. Okay. Can you hear me, Bashir sir? Hello? Bashir?
Sir, tell me.
No, you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. No, because I had some fluctuation of the internet. That's the reason I asked.
Yes, I can hear it.
Yeah, okay. So personal trainer, again, helps a client develop a perfect body, a good figure, a V-shaped body for a man, or a particular curvy figure for a woman, or it could be a healthy or fit body, as we say. In strength and conditioning, you are not worried about the figure. Look at the weightlifters. See their huge stomach. Why do they have a big stomach? Why do they wear that weightlifting belt? That's for another for discussion. A strength and conditioning person is not there to look after the beautiful figure of that man or woman. He is there to see that that man and woman perform better in their respective sport. In personal training, you would have all done that in exercise periodization, right? Your macro cycle, mesocycle, microcycle. But in personal training, we do it. We follow exercise plans every 2-3 months, then we change the thing, and it goes on like that, right? But we don't take it very seriously. In strength and conditioning, periodization is very, 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 very detailed. Why? Because in sports conditioning, you will have post-season, then off-season, pre-season, in-season. Even when Bernard Scorers will come to teaches you in bodybuilding, he'll explain to you in the 4 seasons, 4 parts of the season. Within those 4 parts of the season, again, there's so much to be done in terms of flexibility, agility, power, endurance. So probably a typical sportsman who's really serious, national level, for example, or international level, they practice. I mean, they train for 6 to 7 hours a day. So periodization in strength and conditioning is extremely detailed, which is not the case in personal training. And finally, the last good thing is this. The last difference between personal training and strength and conditioning is this. The strength and conditioning is a process. It is a process. It's a sequence. It's not like, okay, I finished 1 session of personal training and the client went home. Here it is all the while continuing. It can go on for 10, 12 years. A macro cycle for Olympic athletes goes on for 12 years. At the age of 6, you select that student class, that boy, then do his muscle biopsy, come to a conclusion, perhaps, that he is very good for 100 meters sprinting. Then ensure that at the end of 12 years, when he's 18, he gets a gold medal. So the periodization is not really long, but it's very, very detailed. Okay. And that's how do you do that now? For instance, let's take the example of the 100 meters sprint. At the Olympic level, all the sprinters complete the race in 10 seconds. All the 8 sprinters complete the race in 10 seconds. Just 10 seconds. But they train for 4 years. So what is the strength and conditioning fellow got to do? He has to train that fellow for 4 years and then guarantee, ensure that all that training is transferred into peak performance. What is the point of my training an Olympic athlete for 4 years and he comes last? This, you know what I mean? He has to develop his peak performance at the right time, at the right place. This peak performance at the right time, right place is not there in personal training. And finally, I think, as I mentioned earlier, I jumped the gun quite often. Abroad, strength and conditioning, to do strength and conditioning, degree course is essential. In India, as of now, no. As far as you are 10+2, and definitely you need to have a decent or our own CCPFT or any other personal trainer certification. So these are the differences that you need to keep in mind. Differences between personal training and strength and conditioning, because when somebody will ask you, the clients will ask you, why do I need this thing? And you can work in both ways. As I gave you the example of that school, you can work as a personal trainer to develop the fitness of the general students or the students' parents. But you can also do strength and conditioning specific to those different goals of different sports. It could be track and athletics. It could be volleyball. It could be football. Every school today has got, most schools have got so different teams, right? Cricket, volleyball, football. So all these can become part of a strength and conditioning practice, while other things could be in terms of personal training. Why an Indian strength and conditioning course? Let's start with the basic thing. We are Indians. We are smaller in size, lower in strength. Let's not fool ourselves. We are smaller in size. We are smaller in height. Okay. The average Indian height is anything between 5'4" and 5'8". Why 5'4"? If you take Indians in Northeast India, that's Nagaland, Mizoram, they're all around 5'4". The whole of the other parts of the country, it could be 5'8". What about Indian woman? Same, 5 feet tall in Northeast India, and average all India height is 5'3". Average male weight is 65. Average weight of an Indian woman is 55, and male is 65. What about dietary habits? We are primarily, maybe except Northeast, Assam, and Kerala, 75% of Indians eat non-veg. 75% of Indians, including in Gujarat, have non-veg. But we don't eat non-veg like the way Americans or Europeans eat. We may have once in a week, twice a week, thrice a week, right? We are more carbohydrate oriented. And most important, we love our home food. Why do I say this home food? Because I remember when Ian Jeffreys was training in Mumbai 2 years ago, there were 3 foreign coaches. 3 foreign coaches came to attend our course here. One was from Australia, one from Scotland, and the other one was from 2 from Australia, 1 from Scotland. So when we were discussing that, by the way, they were training athletes for Olympics. They were training Indian athletes who went to Tokyo Olympics. Now I will not give the names, but all those Olympic athletes who represented India in Tokyo Olympics, not far ago, just recently, they would come for training. After 1 month, they would get homesick and go run home because they wanted home food. So we are typical. We have our own Indian qualities, right? Cultural factors are different, which also affect psychological parameters. Cultural factors means, or for same thing as socio-economic. What is the main most houses do a 10+2, become a graduate and get a job. Sports, there is no money. Paisa nahi hai sports ke andar, right? It's not a bad thing. At the same time, it's not a very good thing. When I play a sport, I play the sport because I love to play the sport. An average American or European will not look like that, will not look at it like that, or even an average Japanese or Australian. He'll say, when I play a sport, I play it for 2 reasons. Because I like to play that sport, and also because I want to win. Along the way, if I lose, it's okay. In our Indian conditions, what happens? No, it's so koi baat nahi. No, not to worry. You lost. It doesn't matter. Next time you play better. In America, it doesn't work like that. They'll fight and fight and fight and compete. So we are a little different in terms of our anthropometrics. Probably doctors will use the word anthropometrics, means our dimensions, our psychological mentality is different, cultural habits are different, dietary habits are different. So what does it mean? It means that I cannot get an American strength and conditioning course and put it in India. Not possible. We need to see what are our qualities. We are not strong enough as Americans. Whenever I teach, I give that example. Listen to this very carefully. A 16-year-old high school athlete, a 16-year-old male high school athlete in America, bench presses 220 pounds. 220 pounds, a 16-year-old boy lifts. How much our adults in India will lift? Think of it. We are not bad. We are not bad, but just happens that those people are stronger and bigger. So what those principles of strength and conditioning that you apply in America cannot be applied here. They can be applied, but they can be interpreted differently. So what are we good at? My strength is less, but what is an average Indian good at? Our flexibility is better. Our speed is better. Our agility is better. We are far quick thinking people. These are the qualities that China, South Korea also have, like India, like Asians. That is why they took strength and conditioning training principles and applied it to their local population. That's what we are trying to do. That's what we are trying to do. It's not only China and South Korea, even Europe, for example. Europeans are slightly smaller in size as compared to the Americans. The games that we play in Europe are different. Now, for example, this is a photograph of typical American football. 6'4", 300 pounds of pure muscle. Europeans don't play American football. American football is primarily played only in America. And by the way, strength and conditioning, the word strength in strength and conditioning started with this particular game called American football. It is purely strength oriented. The founder of NSCA, National Strength and Conditioning Association, his name is Boyd, B-O-Y-D. He was, even today, is considered one of America's most famous American football coaches. So they did a lot of weightlifting and Olympic lifting and so on. In 1970s, when Epley Boyd, his full name is Epley, Boyd Epley or Epley, Boyd Epley or Epley Boyd. In 1970s, when he started training a university football team, he made them lift weights. Till then, they were not lifting weights. But they're all 6'2", 6'4". They bench press like hell, pure muscle, absolute pure muscle. So that's how that word came in. Strength and conditioning. In Europe, Asia, Korea, China, we will focus more, therefore, on the conditioning part and less on the strength part. Are there other courses available in India? Of course, I mentioned that ISSA itself has an online course. NSCA has its own chapter. I think they got an office in Mumbai. They also do online courses, and they are good courses. I'm not saying they're bad courses, but they're basically 100% online or 85% online. Like the Australian level 1, what is called ASCA, Australian Strength and Conditioning Association level 1 course runs in somewhere in Karnataka only for 2 days. And that too, one guy comes from God knows where. The Indian guy comes and teaches some 2 days things, and then everything is done at online. So that is the reason we said, and they don't focus on nutrition, psychology. That is what you're supposed to give, because you're not here only to teach Olympic movements and compound movements. No, you are there to ensure that your sports client develops 100% condition for that particular sport. So probably, if you ask Professor Ian Jeffreys when he comes to India in June, how many Olympic lifts he knows, he says, how does it make a difference? How does it make a difference? I want a particular kind of strength. For example, why should a marathon runner or a tennis player do Olympic lifts? So the point is this. So, but you will focus more on psychology, sports nutrition, different methods of training. And important, these online courses that are there do not teach you how to transfer. Transfer of what? Preparation. Preparation means physical training. You have trained that athlete, the runner, the sprinter for 4 years. Now you have to ensure that you transfer that training so that his performance becomes good for that 10-second 100 meters race. And finally, the difference is that these online courses have no post-certification mentoring. That is something we keep doing in any case, in all, whether it is our CCPFT or our Pilates courses or other courses, we are always there to help you out. So these are the reasons why we said Professor Ian Jeffreys, in fact, suggested in 2019, because Professor Ian Jeffreys is, I will mention that a little later, he is the world guru in strength and conditioning. He was to come to Thrissur in 2020, Bashir sir will remember, but then COVID came and then we had to cancel that trip. But in 2018, I took him to Belgaum in Karnataka. He taught in Goa, he has taught in Guwahati, he has taught in Mumbai. So he knows what Indians are all about. So this is the reason we thought we should have our own specific, unique Indian strength and conditioning course. Now, what is obviously like our other courses, this is also through the University of Mumbai, okay? Because whatever we do, we'll ensure that you get the best possible certificate. In terms of international accreditation, is there any accreditation? No, as I mentioned to you, EREPS and REPS India, UAE, not REPS India, sorry, IC-REPS, none of them have anything to do with strength and conditioning. But according to Professor Ian Jeffreys, our course is equal to level 2 of the Australian and UK Strength and Conditioning Association courses. Now, in my own capacity, I'm trying to get those accreditations from the Strength and Conditioning Association. So what does that mean now? Suppose you do not have our CCPFT Mumbai University course, you don't have EREPS. Can you get a job in UAE? Yes, because UAE REPS doesn't look after strength and conditioning. So this opens opportunities for jobs in that fashion. Also, what is Professor Ian Jeffreys going to teach? When he comes to India in the month of June, August, and October, he'll come to India thrice. Probably in June, he will teach in Mumbai and Thrissur. In August, probably he may go to Guwahati and Kolkata. And perhaps in October, he will do Dubai and Chennai. Dubai and Chennai. Or something like that. And even Colombo, Sri Lanka is there as part of our training program. What will he teach? Please Google his name. After this class is over, go on internet and find out about Professor Ian Jeffreys. He will first teach you what is called ramping. He is world famous for it. He has written books on it. Ramping means raise, activate, mobilize, potentiate. Now let him, when he comes, he'll explain to you. Basically, this is a very progressive kind of warm-up. Not to be done in the gym for personal training or weight training, but done in the context of sports. RAMP stands for raise, activate, mobilize, potentiate. It's a system, it's a protocol that drills for warm-up. Then he comes to game speed. I'll show you a couple of videos. I hope that video works today. Yesterday also did not work properly. Game speed is about movement training, agility. A football player dodging between defenders with the ball, between defenders and accelerating. Movement is important. Ultimately, in sports, you need movement, right? Then he'll also teach how to develop force capacity in the body, how to develop more power, how to apply strength and speed same time, how to develop endurance capacity. Seeing the big picture means the entire macro cycle. What is the macro cycle? Is he going to, do you want your school football team, under 14 football team to win the championship? Let's say the state level championship in the next 1 year, 2 years? That's the big picture. You should keep the ultimate goal in mind. He will also teach you how to zero in on the target. Zeroing on the target meaning, as I mentioned to you earlier, in football, there are 11 players. All 11 players are not the same. Some are strong, some are weak, some are tall, some are short. How to ensure that each one becomes a part of the cog in the wheel, becomes an actual team member. We want the team to be developed as a team, not just as a group. So that's basically, and then finally he talks in terms, he will teach you how to shift, move, transition from training to performance. What's the point of training in the gym and on the sports field if you cannot perform? Ultimately, the proof of the pudding lies in the eating. The proof of performance lies in getting the gold medal or the transfership, the championship. So this is what he's going to teach. This course, well, I'll come to the little later, so I don't want to repeat again. What is the syllabus? These things I will not mention it here because you all, most of you are probably, if you have a good personal trainer certificate, and certainly our CCPFT have done all that. Anatomy, physiology, exercise, kinesiology, biomechanics, and so on and so forth, or nutrition and so on. Only thing that you do not have, probably you will have to, all of us have to attend classes will be in context of these two. Chapter course 4 and 5 is gone to the other side. Sports performance psychology and facility management. Facility management means how, as a sports strength and conditioning coach, you're also the manager looking after that training equipment, scheduling, timetables, the staff, all that we will teach this time. It's like a mini fitness center management course. Even if you've done our CCPFT or you've done some other personal trainer certificate course, even if you are very familiar with exercise and sports kinesiology, we will conduct specific sports kinesiology and physiology classes meant for 16 different types of sport. 16 different types of sport, but not including bodybuilding, because bodybuilding, we have a separate course for that in any case. This is something you guys have to keep in mind, okay? Practical training, what is Ian Jeffreys going to teach? Now, Ian Jeffreys is going to teach personally, physically, when it comes to Kerala or Mumbai or whatever it is, 4 or 5 days. Ratnadeep from Mumbai, Anshuman from Guwahati, and of course, our famous Bashir sir is there to also going to teach. What will they teach? He will teach online and also offline how to recovery after a match, for example, strength and conditioning for children, strength and conditioning for special populations, strength and condition in, for example, performing in extreme environment. For example, now in Nagpur, for instance, or Punjab, the temperature is already 47, 48 degrees, 45 degrees Celsius, very hot. Or like in Amritsar in January, the temperature goes down to -2. Or in Leh, Ladakh, how are you going to practice at 10,000 feet above sea level? So he's going to teach you those things also. Okay. The usual strength training, you guys have already done it. The CCPFT students have done it. I mean, theory of strength, practice, all that stuff. But this one thing that he will spend a lot of time is development of these capacities, what he calls as capacities. Force capacity, production of power, endurance, speed, and so on, because that's the important thing in sport. What is the point of my lifting heavy weights if I can't develop stamina or power, right? So this is what he's going to teach when he comes. How are we going to teach? We will teach online classes, Zoom. There will be 2 types of online classes where our own faculty will teach. Then Professor Ian Jeffreys Zoom classes recordings will be played, and then we'll teach that in local languages. So for example, if Professor Ian Jeffreys gives lectures for 1 hour each, he has got about 17 or 18 such lectures. Bashir sir, for example, in Kerala, he will stop every 10 minutes, translate, explain, and then proceed. Same thing in Guwahati, same thing in Mumbai, same thing elsewhere we will be doing. Second part to live is where our faculty will teach live. Okay, for example, advanced sports psychology. She is Amruta. Amruta is the name. She is a very famous sports psychologist who will teach from Mumbai, but those are common classes for all the students wherever you are. And then, of course, like there'll be home assignments and things. And finally, in person, there'll be 2 types of physical classes. One is where those who have not done plyometrics, for example, or functional training, those who are not our CCPFT students will come and attend those workshops. And of course, Ian Jeffreys will teach how to develop your force capacities, game speed, ramping, all that he will come and teach personally. Well, those who have already done CCPFT, that's the reason you're getting those course credits and the discount. So these are already there in your case, CCPFT students. But other personal trainer students who are not done our courses, probably they will have to attend these courses as part of the fee that you are paying us. And as any our students will tell you, personal training students get nearly 1,300 or 1,400 exercise videos. in as part of strength and conditioning, you will get 550s, 650, 750, 1080, around 1100 exercise videos. These are already there with the CCPFT students, so they will not get this. I mean, there's no point in giving it again unless they have lost it or not downloaded the exercise videos. Other students will get the books and the videos. Okay, probably everybody will get the book because, as Bashir sir will tell you, we update our syllabus books every 6 months. So probably if you are from the 2019 CCPFT or 2020 CCPFT batch, you'll find that in plyometrics, for example, there are 25 more videos added in the last 1 year. We keep updating. Okay. And Deepa, who's here, a very well-known water fitness specialist and yoga teacher in Mumbai. We took three years to develop our era of water fitness
Thank you, sir.
course. We took 3 years, but we took 3 years because we do a lot of scientific research. University comes to the picture, and finally we have wonderful 80 exercise videos which will be given to our personal trainer courses. So students by 7th of May you will get them. So this is how the whole thing is done. Somebody asked me in the beginning, Bashir sir asked me which training, where will Ian Jeffreys teach? As I mentioned earlier, he will teach in June, August, October. It will be probably, I mean, the principle is this: if we have 25 students, we will go there. If there are less than 25 students, then those students will have to come to the nearest place. If not in June, then in August, or if not in August, in October. So let me repeat this: in June, he will definitely do Mumbai and Thrissur, if we have those number of students. In August, he will do Guwahati, Assam, because that's a major training center for us. Guwahati and Kolkata, or that Northeast, because Northeast is famous for football, for example. Northeast, Nagaland, Manipur, Mizoram, Arunachal Pradesh, Assam, Meghalaya, they are fantastic in sports, just like Kerala. So the thing is, he will definitely be spending time in Guwahati. October, now depends. In October, he will do definitely one of, probably, I'm not sure whether it's possible, but he will do Dubai, that's 100% confirmed, and perhaps Chennai and Colombo. If Chennai, we don't have any students, then he will not go to Chennai. He'll do this Mumbai or some other place, and then. But the point is, wherever you are, you will not be ignored. You will come and do the classes. Some students from Goa, they asked me this question yesterday. There were 10 people in that yesterday's seminar. Do they have to attend the practical training for all this? Plyometrics and all that. Well, if they are not able to travel from Goa to Mumbai for every weekend, I understand. But because we give these exercise videos, they can practice on their own, and as usual, send us practice videos. We want proof that they're actually practicing at home. But yes, when Ian Jeffreys comes, those Goa students were definitely going to come to Mumbai for 5 or 6 days. So that's one thing that I wanted to make it very, very clear. Online classes will most probably be on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Sundays in the afternoons on Zoom. Common to all, wherever you are, whether you are in Kerala or Assam, or everybody will be sitting in those classes. Practical training will be, the dates may differ. Now, for example, now all these practical workshops you are seeing on the screen, in Mumbai, they will start in the month of June. Perhaps in Kerala, they will start probably as early as, they already started. Weight training has already started. So each Guwahati, they're about to start next month. So each state, Kolkata will start only in the month of May. So each state or each major city will have these workshops in any case. So there's no one fixed date. All the students will come on 1st of May and do advanced training. No, the dates are staggered depending on the personal trainer course that goes on there. But you will get this thing, so you don't have to worry about it. You can practice on your own with the help of DVDs and the books that we give you. And when you have the time later on, then come and do the physical training of it. Because unless you really physically train, you're not going to get that experience. Of course, our CCPFT students know how it is done, but Deepa and the others who are not done our courses will understand. This is how we teach with the help of, for example, in weight training, we have 550. I think we're adding another 25 exercises this month itself. So it goes to 575. But this is how you'll be taught the basics and advanced variations, all kinds of stuff. How to do the exercise, when to inhale, how to exhale, what are the safety tips to be done, all that will be taught. Okay. Uh, that was for weightlifting. This is, of course, Shilpa. Shilpa is married now. She has a child. She is based now in San Francisco. She did our CCPFT and ISSA in Bangalore. Is a world junior athlete who has represented India in World Junior Athletic Championships in Beijing. And she did a lot of work for us in functional training and Pilates. Even these things, defensive under twos, functional training in terms of movement, we have the DVDs and which, you can copy and even attend our classes. This is just an example. It's known as defensive under twos, excellent for hip joint and your lumbar back flexibility. So we have, I think, functional training itself. Earlier, we had only 75 exercises. Now we have added 21 or 25, about totally 100. Same way, this is functional strength training. Multi-planar, multi-joint, which normally you would not do in a typical gym setup. Here, this is the girl from Siliguri, well-known senior personal trainer there and a wonderful person. She just demonstrating. I mean, she's not lifting really heavy weights, although she does lift quite a lot of weight. Her name is Monica Pradhan. So this is the kind of videos you guys are going to get, or you already got it. Those who are not done with CCPFT, Deepa, for example, you are going to get these nearly 1100 videos. Stretching. But for example, we always talk in terms of stretching as stretching for what? Stretching for warm up, right? But stretching has got three functions. One is warm up, the other one is flexibility, and third, like this, what Shoma from Kolkata is demonstrating here. When you do stretches with light weights, like a barbell, for example, you are actually helping strengthen the connective tissue. And what is the theory behind it? Maybe my bicep muscle has got enough strength to lift a 100-pound dumbbell. But what is the point if the tendon cannot lift even 5 pounds? Because ultimately that power has to be transferred from the bicep muscle through the tendon to the bone, right? Ultimately, it's a bone which is lifting the dumbbell. So for that, we do light stretching, stretching with light weights. Shoma, of course, will also be teaching. She is a national champion in swimming, and in Kolkata, she's very famous for. She's a yoga teacher, famous yoga teacher in Kolkata, and she's done the Bihar School of Yoga, one of the oldest schools or philosophies of yoga in the country. I think Bihar School of Yoga is in Munger, somewhere in Bihar. And now here is, in 2018, Professor Ian Jeffreys was how he teaches. He came from Norway. It was month of May. He came from Norway where the temperature was 1 degree Celsius in the afternoons. And from there, he straight went into 40 degrees temperature in Goa. Because it was so hot, we had to do it on the terrace of a building, of a big gym called Norbert's. And he himself participates in the practical training. You'll love this guy. He's an amazing teacher. He does not drink water, does not have lunch. Once he starts teaching at 9 o'clock till 5 o'clock, he'll keep teaching. But he'll tell you whenever you want to have lunch, go finish it and come back. And I'll tell you one thing, most of these guys who were there did not go for lunch because they enjoyed working with him. We had this wonderful senior personal trainer from Hyderabad, a lady who attended this particular course, and it was so hot that she suffered from heat exhaustion. But this man kept doing it. Let's see what he does. This is part of game speed. His way of teaching you love, and don't worry about the language. He can communicate with Chinese, Koreans. He has worked all over the world. He's an amazing guy. This is part of game speed, how to do movement training. Okay. Now you'll notice one thing here. A lot of these guys who are sitting here, they are all coaches, sports coaches from the Sports Authority of Goa. Okay. Many of them did not participate because they're already, it was quite hot and nothing. Many of them are quite senior in age. So we are also a lot of these youngsters, personal trainers from Goa, Belgaum, and North Karnataka who were there, and they did were actually physically participated. This is again part of ramping and game speed. Watch. I hope this video works well. I'm sorry, this video is giving problems. Now that was me laughing, okay? So I'm sorry. I wish you could see, but let me try again. You should see the way he runs. Watch. This is all part of ramp. Okay, so this is how he teaches, and you'll enjoy his teaching. Okay. Sorry. One minute. I think this got stuck somewhere, so I need to. Yeah. Now, who is going to teach? We're coming towards the end now. Professor Ian Jeffreys, as I mentioned, he's the guy you saw on the videos. His photograph is there on the side. He is considered to be the world authority in development of speed agility for team sports. But team sports is all. I wish I could show one more video, but it's not playing. He is famous for game speed and ramp. And he is known as Emeritus Registered Strength. I mean, he is the most famous senior guy in NSCA itself, National Strength and Conditioning Association of America. He is one of the very influential, powerful persons in that association. When he was board of directors of NSCA, all kinds of things. He was in the British Olympic Association, register of exercise professionals. He also have register of strength and conditioning professionals. He is a founder of the United Kingdom Strength and Conditioning Association, has worked with South Korea, Poland, and Shanghai Sports Institute in China. And he has worked with professional athletes, school children, all kinds of sportsmen in, look at the number of countries, UK, USA, China, Australia, India, of course, I should have added here, Germany, Japan, Ireland, Portugal, etc., etc. And he has written, my God, he has written some 30, 40 books. One of those books is going to be part of your course because we are giving a heavy discount this time. If you want that book, you'll have to pay extra, or better still, you can get it from Amazon. But his book is the main textbook for our course. Okay. Yes, I mentioned here he has done it in Mumbai, Belgaum, Guwahati, and so on and so forth. Other people who are going to be there, of course, Ratnadeep from Mumbai, Anshuman from Guwahati, our famous Bashir sir from Trishur, Dr. Meenakshi will teach, because who is Meenakshi? She's a senior physiotherapist, sports physio, who has worked with the Indian women boxing and wrestling teams. And if you, I'm sure you will agree, in boxing and wrestling are two games where you have all the while sports injuries, right? So she will be teaching, and she teaches with a lot of, like all the others here, they'll teach with a lot of passion. Madhumita is from Kolkata. She will teach sports nutrition. There's also Devanjali from Mumbai who will teach sports nutrition. Saima, some of you know who is Saima. She will be teaching some of the things. Amrita, Shoma, there are a lot of other faculty members, but the senior ones are the ones that I mentioned here. Okay. One advantage of all these people is that they're all been famous sportsmen. Bashir sir himself, of course. Amrita, the sports psychologist, a national and international triathlon. You know what is triathlon? Endurance event. It is cycling, running, and swimming. You need to have tremendous mental strength. And she's a sports psychologist. Madhumita herself here, not only a high altitude cyclist, she cycles not in Kolkata, she goes up in the Himalayas and cycles. A yoga teacher and also a personal trainer. Of course, Ratnadeep has very well known in the strength training. Bashir sir, of course, very famous. This side, who are the people? Anshuman is on there. Meenakshi is the one here in this, giving a lecture in Mumbai a couple of years ago. So we have a very good faculty for this. The fees, yes, I think all of you know that. The CCPFT students are paying much less. That fee is not mentioned here. This is a one-time discount we're giving because it's an unusual situation. We are coming out of COVID. We need some money in the pocket. I mean, that's not the main thing, but also as to motivate people to get into strength and conditioning. The original fee, including tax and all that, plus university, all the fees included is 58,000, but we are giving it at 45,000 rupees, payable in 5 installments, monthly installments. 58,000 includes this book. 45,000 does not. Now, either you pay 3,500 extra to us so that we can give you this brilliant textbook called Effective Coaching in Strength and Conditioning by Professor Ian Jeffreys, or you are welcome to buy it directly from Amazon. Amazon will charge you 2,900. We are charging 3,500. Why? Because of that wonderful thing called GST that has to be paid, plus courier charges. But if you're doing it directly from Amazon, it's available now. Please buy the paper. What do you call it? Paperback edition. The hard copy is very expensive. Okay. As you know, many of you know, Skills India is not compulsory. There is no need to do it. But if you feel like doing it, you are welcome to do it. You need to be 10+2 school education. You should definitely have a personal trainer certificate in your hand. I'm sorry, I'm not boasting, but those who have done our CCPFT are in absolutely good condition to do strength and conditioning, because it's like part of it is going to be like revision for them. But if you've done NSCA, NASM, ISSA, come along, we have no problems, okay? And if you're not a personal trainer, but you're a sports coach holding a coaching certificate from Sports Authority of India, for example, NIS Patiala, Bangalore, whatever, or Trivandrum, in IOC, International Olympic Committee recognized sports, or Indian sports, they can also come and join the course. You should be physically fit, but does not mean that you cannot be. There are physically challenged people also. There's one person from Bangalore who's joining, who's, I think he was a powerlifting champion. He has polio. You know, in the Paraplegic Games, he has won the powerlifting championships. So all kinds of people will be joining us. Phase 1 may be exempted. That is to say, those who have done a good personal trainer course need not attend our lectures in anatomy, physiology, because you've already done it. You are welcome to attend it, but we will not make it we don't make it compulsory in that, because aapne wo kiya hai, you already done it. But by way of revision, please come and sit in the class. That is where we stop. I think it was decent, a quick thing. We have a decent response today. Any questions from anyone? Any questions? Those who do not have my phone number can please write it down. 9820082303. I repeat, 9820082303. You are welcome to contact me anytime. Okay. Officially the enrollment starts on April 10. Why do we do this? This is the 5th and final seminar. We had a seminar Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Every day we've been having seminars. Why do we have the seminars? So that you understand what we are going to teach, what is going to be the course syllabus and things like that. Because see, these are vocation. Vocation course means it is something you really like, and you want to make it into a profession. Now, profession means like a doctor. It is lifelong. For the whole of your life, you're going to be in strength and conditioning and personal training. It is not like, so the decision has to be taken with a lot of information and thought. It is not like saying, today I feel like wearing a green t-shirt, so I'm wearing a green t-shirt. It can't be, you have to think. So when you have any doubts, please call me personally directly and I'll explain to you. Okay. You should have the right kind of information on the basis of which you decide to do the course. I think you will do the course because it has got amazing career prospects and this thing. So this is where my lecture ends. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Any questions?
Sir, what about the certificate? Perhaps our Kerala students may
See,
wish
the
to.
certificate is from the University of Mumbai, just like the CCPFT certificate. It is just like the CCPFT certificate. The difference being that Ian Jeffreys will also himself sign it. Okay. As of now, as I mentioned, no, it is not, doesn't come under reps, but eReps has got what is called a lifelong learning process. So that we will apply for maybe after our own academic accreditation renewal process is going on now. It was delayed by 2 months. Once that is over, then I'll apply for strength and conditioning lifelong learning certification from eReps. And as I mentioned to you, that will take time. Even with Ian Jeffreys himself helping us, United Kingdom Strength and Conditioning Association, they have different regulation. They want everybody to be a graduate. While in our case, Nimisha, I think you're, while in our case, we are doing 10+2. So that we'll see a little later on. But certification is from the University of Mumbai. It also be signed by Professor Ian Jeffreys. And those who do this course later on also will get that eReps lifelong learning process. eReps certificate. Okay, got it? Acha, Anamika, you wanted my number, right? I will write the number here on the chat box. Yeah, 9820082303. Got it? Contact me anytime. Okay, Bashir sir, you got the point, na?
Okay.
Now, as far as Kerala students are concerned, let me see whether I can play that. Just hang on. Let me see whether I can play that right now, so you get an idea how it is done. How do I? Oh my God.
Nimisha, kindly mute your audio, please. Nimisha, okay.
I don't know how to do that, but I can't open that. I don't know what, where my browser has gone. 1 minute. I think, yeah, okay, here. Just a second. No, I'm not able to get it out and pull it out on the screen. What I'm trying to say is, we will play Ian Jeffreys' video. He gives lectures for every 1 hour each. There are 15 or I think 17 such lectures. So you play it for every 10 minutes and then translate in Malayalam, for example, for 10 minutes, and then continue. After that, then there'll be other topics where I will come and teach something. Ratnadeep will teach. Those are online classes, which will be in English. Again, there again, you can do local separate translation later on. That's what exactly Anshuman will do in Assam. We're trying to make it as bilingual as is possible. Okay.
Okay, sir.
So that is what we had in mind. Sir, is this a gateway to the certificate course, or do we get a certificate for this seminar? This is a seminar only for getting information, not for certificate. This is not a course. I'm not taking an exam here. Okay. This is only to introduce you to the seminar. The meaning is that seminar is basically to introduce you to this course, for which will get certificates actually. Okay. Unless you want me to charge you for this 1,000 rupees and then give you a certificate. So anyway, I'm glad I met you. I spoke to you all. And Bashir sir, of course, you can make a group. I have a feeling we'll do well in Mumbai and Trishur and Guwahati. Of course, Anshuman already has got students there, so that should not be much of a problem. Okay. Okay, that's it then. It's time for your lunch, I think. So we'll stop here, and I hope Please don't forget to contact me. Kerala students can always contact Bashir sir or WhatsApp me, whatever it is. Other students from outside Kerala, please be in touch with me directly. I have already given the number. Even Kerala students can be in touch with me directly. That should not be a problem. But I can tell you one thing, it's a fantastic career. You'll be the first genuine batch of strength and conditioning coaches in India. That by itself is a big thing. With this, and by the way, I've already written to all the sports authorities in India, saying that we are doing this, please accept our strength and conditioning people for their departments. You understand? So we're trying to help open opportunities for our students in schools, colleges, professional sports clubs, East Bengal, football, whatever it is. So they all know that we are doing something. Yeah. Sir, one more question. How long is the course? I thought I answered. Anyway, it is approximately 5 months long. Okay. 5 installments. So 5 months long. If it is 6 months, you will pay in 6 installments. So basically it's 5 months. But there's a lot of work, like the way you guys do in CCPFT. Here also there'll be a lot of home assignments, video recordings and all that. Not that typical bicep curl. No, they'll be quite different. Here you'll have to actually work with a youngster, a football player or a hockey player. That is how to get into that thing. It is not just home assignments are not only for doing exercise. You know, Pilates 100 or backstroke in swimming. No, we're not teaching that. Here you have to actually work with students or a student, players and help them. And then you'll get a choice. Work with a marathon runner or work with a basketball. There's enough number of sportsmen all over the country. Or work with a kabaddi player or do something. And we'll come up with ideas. So it will be very practical kind of an examination. Also, usual, of course, MCQ will be there. Without MCQ, you cannot have exams. Home assignments are there. And there'll be no practical the way we have in personal training. There's no practical exam. But you'll have a case studies. Okay. So it will be around 5 months. What about fee structure? I think what I already mentioned. Fee structure. You have CCPFT students pay much less than what is mentioned. 58,000 is the actual fee. Discounted fee for everybody is 45,000. But our CCPFT students will pay much less. That figure I've already informed you separately. Bachir sir also knows about that. Okay. And whatever the amount, whether it is 45,000, whatever that you may make the payment in 5 installments. But see that the installments are made on time. Because now this here it is not just me or the university. Here we are also paying other people like Professor Ian Jeffreys. These people, they are not sasta, they are not cheap. They're very, very, very expensive, And one of the reasons why he likes to come to India and work with me is because we have been quite, professional in things. So we have to be very careful of our installments also. We can't not pay for 2 months and they say, no, now I'll pay off. No. Here we have to be very, very careful of the thing. Okay. So shall we stop here?
Okay, sir, 1 minute. 1 minute.
Yeah.
കേരളത്തിൽ നിന്ന് റെപ്രസെന്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുള്ള നമ്മുടെ സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനോടും അല്ലാത്തവരോടും എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ളത്, നമ്മൾ ഇന്ന് ഈ രംഗത്ത് ഈ പ്രൊഫഷനിൽ നമ്മൾ ജോലി ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ
I think those who are not from Kerala, if you want to leave the meeting, you're welcome to leave the meeting. Others can continue. Okay.
Okay, thank you, sir. നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിൽ CCPFT സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റ് അടക്കം നമ്മുടെ കയ്യിൽ ഒരു ഡസൻ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റുകൾ നമ്മുടെ CCPFT കോഴ്സിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടും ഇറപ്സിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ടും അത് നാൾക്ക് നാള് അതിന്റെ എന്താ പറയാ അത്തരം ക്വാളിഫിക്കേഷൻ ഉള്ളവർ കൂടി വരുന്ന ഒരു കാലഘട്ടം. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ മുന്നോട്ട് പോകും തോറും നമ്മുടെ കരിയർ മെച്ചപ്പെടുത്തുന്നതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് നമ്മൾക്ക് അഡീഷണൽ ആയിട്ട് ഇതുപോലെ സ്ട്രെങ്ത് ആൻഡ് സ്പോർട്സ് കണ്ടീഷനിങ് പോലുള്ള അതും യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റി കോഴ്സ്, അത് ഇന്ന് വിദേശ രാജ്യങ്ങളിലും മറ്റുമാണ് സാറ് പറഞ്ഞു ഇന്ന് ഈ കോഴ്സുകൾ ഇന്ന് അവൈലബിൾ. ആദ്യമായിട്ടാണ് ഇന്ത്യയിൽ ഒരു എന്താ പറയാ ഒരു റെക്കഗ്നൈസ്ഡ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ കീഴിൽ ഇതുപോലെ ഒരു സ്ട്രെങ്ത് ആൻഡ് കണ്ടീഷനിങ് സ്പോർട്സ് ആൻഡ് സ്ട്രെങ്ത് ആൻഡ് കണ്ടീഷനിങ് കോഴ്സ് വരുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ അത് നിങ്ങളെ കയ്യിൽ ഒരു പേഴ്സണൽ ട്രെയിനർ എന്നറിയാം. പേഴ്സണൽ ട്രെയിനിങ് എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാല് ഫിറ്റ്നസ് ട്രെയിനർ മാത്രമല്ല, ഏത് മേഖലയിലും വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാവുന്ന തരത്തിലുള്ള ഒരു കോഴ്സാണ് നമ്മൾ വിഭാവനം ചെയ്യുന്നത്. ആ കൂട്ടത്തിലേക്ക് ഒരു സ്ട്രെങ്ത് ആൻഡ് കണ്ടീഷനിങ് സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റും അത് റെക്കഗ്നൈസ്ഡ് യൂണിവേഴ്സിറ്റിയുടെ നിങ്ങളുടെ കയ്യിൽ ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കാന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അതിന് ഒരു ആഡ് ഓൺ വാല്യൂ 100% ഉണ്ട്. കാരണം അത് ഇനിയുള്ള കാലം ഇപ്പൊ ഇതൊന്നും ഇല്ലാതെ തന്നെ നമ്മുടെ പല CCPFT സ്റ്റുഡൻസും സ്കൂളുകളിലും കോളേജുകളും ക്ലബുകളിലും അതുമാതിരി തന്നെ പല സ്പോർട്സ് ക്ലബ് എന്താ പറയുക ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷനിലും ഒക്കെ തന്നെ അവിടെ സ്ട്രെങ്ത് ആൻഡ് കണ്ടീഷനിങ്ങിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് ടീമിന്റെ ഒപ്പം വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നവരുണ്ട്. സാധാരണ ഫിറ്റ്നസ് ഫീൽഡിലുള്ള മൈൻഡില്ല, കുറേയും കൂടി നല്ല സാലറി കിട്ടാൻ ചാൻസ് ഉള്ളതാണ് അത്തരം സ്പോർട്സ് ക്ലബിലും മറ്റും വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ. അപ്പൊ സ്വാഭാവികമായിട്ടും അത് ഉണ്ടായിരിക്കുന്നത് എന്തുകൊണ്ടും നന്നായിരിക്കും. സാർ പറഞ്ഞതുപോലെ നമ്മുടെ കേരളത്തിൽ നിന്ന് ഒരു 10-35 പേര് അതിന് താല്പര്യമെടുത്ത് എൻറോൾ ചെയ്യാൻ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് കേരളത്തിൽ നമുക്ക് അതിന്റെ കോഴ്സ് ചെയ്യാം. ഇനി അതല്ല എന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ എന്താ പറയാ, അത്രയും താല്പര്യമുള്ളവര് മുന്നോട്ട് വരുന്നില്ലെങ്കിൽ പിന്നെ ബോംബെയിലോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഗുവാഹട്ടിയിലോ എവിടെയാണ് ക്ലാസ് നടക്കുന്നതെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് അതിനധികം ഓൺലൈനിൽ തന്നെ ക്ലാസ് ഉണ്ട്. പിന്നെ നമ്മുടെ CCPFT സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന് ഒരു ഗുണം എന്താ വെച്ചാൽ കുറെ നമ്മൾ പഠിച്ചിട്ടുള്ള സബ്ജക്ട് ഉണ്ട് ഇതിൽ. അല്ലാത്ത ടോപ്പിക്സ് ആണ് നമ്മൾ കൂടുതലും കോൺസെൻട്രേറ്റ്. ബാക്കിയുള്ള നമുക്കൊരു റിവിഷന്റെ ഭാഗമായിട്ട് നിങ്ങൾക്ക് താല്പര്യം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ, വേണമെങ്കിൽ അറ്റൻഡ് ചെയ്യണം, നിർബന്ധമില്ല. പക്ഷെ ഒരു റിവിഷൻ ചെയ്താൽ മതി, സ്വയമായിട്ടോ അല്ലാതെയും. ബാക്കിയുള്ള അഡീഷണൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ടോപ്പിക്സും ബുക്സും നമ്മൾ റെഫർ ചെയ്താൽ മതി. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് സാറിന് അതിനൊരു ഡിസ്കൗണ്ട് ചെയ്ത് സാർ തരുന്നു പറഞ്ഞിട്ടുള്ളത്. 45 സംതിങ് ആണ് ഡിസ്കൗണ്ടഡ് ഫീസാണ് നോർമലി. അതിൽ നിന്ന് കുറച്ചും കൂടി കുറവ് നമുക്ക് കിട്ടും. പക്ഷെ ഇതൊരു വർത്താണ് ഈ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റും കൂടി കയ്യിലുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത്. കാരണം ബാക്കി എല്ലാ സർട്ടിഫിക്കറ്റും എല്ലാവരുടെ കയ്യിലും ഒരു പരിധി വരെ ഈവൻ നമ്മുടെ CCPFT സ്റ്റുഡൻസിനുണ്ട്. പക്ഷെ ഇത് അഡീഷണൽ ആയിട്ട് എടുക്കുമ്പോൾ അതൊരു ആഡ് ഓൺ വാല്യൂ ആണ്. ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മുടെ കൈക്കൂട്ടത്തിൽ സജേഷ് കണ്ണൂർ ബാച്ചിലുള്ള ആള് സ്പോർട്സ്മാനായിട്ട് വർക്ക് ചെയ്യും. അവന്മാര് പലരും അപ്പൊ അക്കൂട്ടത്തിലേക്ക് ഇതൊരു മുതൽക്കൂട്ടായും ആയിരിക്കും, യാതൊരു സംശയമില്ല. അപ്പൊ നിങ്ങൾ അറിയിക്കുക, താല്പര്യമുള്ളവർ അറിയിക്കുക. നമുക്ക് 10-35 പേര് ഉണ്ടാവുകയാണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് ഇവിടെ ജൂൺ മാസത്തിൽ സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്യാം. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പിന്നീട് നമുക്ക് എന്നാണോ ആ ഒരു സ്ട്രെങ്ത് നമുക്ക് അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നത് അപ്പൊ തുടങ്ങും. അല്ലാത്തവർക്ക് നമുക്ക് മറ്റുള്ള സ്റ്റേറ്റിൽ നമുക്ക് ആ കോഴ്സ് ജോയിൻ ചെയ്യാം. ഓക്കെ, വിഷ് യു ഓൾ ദി ബെസ്റ്റ്. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you all. Have a nice,
Thank you, sir. Thank you,
delicious lunch and rest. Bye.
Thank you all.
God bless. Bye-bye.